I bet Carl Taylor must be relieved tonight that the kids he has taught so well down on the farm in Milwaukee got so many points tonight. No. He must be so relieved that Cody Glass returned to the game in the second period after getting hurt in the first period. The last thing the Milwaukee Admirals need is to lose another player to emergency call-up when the Admirals are so invested in finally winning the Calder Cup trophy in the AHL that eluded them that they were so going to win before the 2020 COVID shutdown. Everybody's hands go up, way up, as the Nashville Predators defeat the Buffalo Sabres by a final score of 7-3 in KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York, Tuesday night. On the back of 4 goals combined by Luke Evangelista and Matt Duchene, the Preds showed that they put Sunday's goose egg far behind them as they took out their frustrations on the Sabres. Who knew that in a calendar year that the Preds could score as many points in the city of Buffalo as the Titans did last September? Preds are finishing up this quick 2-game road trip before returning home in time for Thursday for a quick 3-game homestand. Both teams finding their feet early, trying to shake off the rust that both of them went through on Sunday, both losing 7-0. The Preds in New York, of course, as you all remember, and the Sabres lost 7-0 to the Boston Bruins on home ice. Both of these teams have a chance, not a great chance, at sneaking into the playoffs in their respective conferences, so you'd think that neither one has completely given up on a handful of games that each of them have left on their schedules. The most important thing you can do as the road team in a situation like this, especially after a colossal bad result like the Preds had on Sunday versus the Rangers, is to survive the first 5 to 10 minutes. And that's what the Preds are doing in this game. They kill off a Sabres power play. They don't let the Sabres massively outplay them or outshoot them. And they're rewarded for their effort because just over 8 1/4 left to go in the first period. Preds off the rush into the Sabres zone, and Matt Duchene to Craig Anderson, who is net for the Sabres' left. Matt Duchene, just after entering the Sabres zone, gets it cross ice to number 26, Philip Tomasino. From distance, he doesn't even get total control of it, but he gets a blast on it. It beats Anderson. The Preds have a 1-0 lead. That's only Philip Tomasino's 4th of the season. Remember, he didn't start the season with the Preds. He got called up later in the season, and including his injury, he has been playing so well since being called up. I gotta think he's gonna start next season on the opening night roster. Let's fast forward to just under 90 seconds left to go in the first period. More like just a tad over 80 seconds left to go in the first period. Play is in the Sabres zone. Cody Glass is behind the Buffalo Sabres net, and he gets the pass off, and just after that, on a defensive player not realizing where it's coming, he gets crushed by Tage Thompson, goes down in a heap, but the play continues. Play is not whistled. Cody Glass still trying to collect himself and compose himself to get back into the play. The play has not been called dead. Puck is being passed around, so the Preds continue until they do, because what's the rule? You play until the whistle. Jeremy Liaison gets it to Tomasino. Tomasino passes it over to Matt Duchene, who one-times it past Craig Anderson. Preds lead 2-0. And now we can worry about, is Cody Glass okay? Because the last thing the Preds need is to lose another player. What is it with the Preds' bad luck with injuries right now? Hopefully Cody Glass does return, because the last thing they need is to call up somebody else from Milwaukee. And I guess it's a benefit in the moment, because Cody Glass leaves the ice and heads straight for the Preds locker room under his own strength. The remaining time in the first period winds down, and the Preds still maintain their 2-0 lead. No Cody Glass to start the second period for the Preds, as Preds Nation gets a little bit nervous. Preds would kill off an early Sabres power play in the beginning parts of the second period, but soon after that, it's now the Sabres' turn to be in transition, and Saros makes the initial save, but there's the rebound for Dylan Cousins to get it home past Saros, and the Preds lead is cut to 2-1. But don't you worry, Preds Nation, because the Preds would have a quick answer to that goal. Tyson Barrie is fitting in well on the Preds blue line in place of Roman Josi, who is still out hurt. He has the puck just inside the Preds blue line, and he gets it cross ice to the other side of the sideboard over to Evangelized, who quickly sees a breaking Tommy Novak, who has a breakaway in on Craig Anderson. He snaps it home, scores! Preds regain their 2-goal lead. They're now up 3-1. Moments after it was 3-1 Preds, it looked like the Preds had made it 4-1. But hold up, the Sabres want a challenge, and yeah, I got stuck with the Sabres call, so this was so nice to see get waved off. But yes, it was offside by quite a bit. They got the call right, and the Preds maintained their 3-1 lead. But I don't know if you noticed, Preds Nation, but who was the one responsible for that goal being deemed offside? Cody Glass. He's okay, everybody. He's okay. No need to call anyone new up from Milwaukee. Cody Glass has returned to this game. He is not injured. Thank God. On a Craig Anderson tripping call, you'd think the Preds would use that to their advantage, but no, they kind of regressed a little bit. They didn't let the Sabres score, but the Sabres had not one, but two shorthanded chances. Wake up, guys. Come on. Get your heads into this game. We got to get the 2 points after what happened on Sunday with how you got embarrassed. Preds start to get their motors going, start to get themselves rolling, because just over 9 minutes into the second period, UC Soros gets this play going as the Preds break out on a 2-on-1. You got Tommy Novak in, and he gets the puck over to Evangelized, who holds the puck just enough, and he snaps it by Craig Anderson. The Preds now are leading this game by 3 goals. 4-1 Preds. The Sabres can't have that goal waved off, and not this one either, as Keith Sherwood gets the puck out of his zone through 2 Sabres somehow to Luke Evangelized, who has a 2-on-1, and he keeps it this time and goes in, goes backhand past Craig Anderson. The Preds are rolling now. The Preds' second goal in barely 40 seconds, and they're steamrolling the Sabres 5-1. Sabres would call a timeout, try to settle things down, try to figure things out. The Preds not necessarily out of the woods yet, because with about 7.5 left to go in the second period, Preds bad defensive breakdown, 2-on-0 for the Sabres going in on Saros. Jeffrey Skinner keeps the puck himself and goes in, but Saros makes the save. And the capper for the period for the Preds, as just over 4 minutes left to go, capping off the Preds scoring 4 goals in 11 minutes and 52 seconds. Play in the Sabres zone once again. Sabres desperate to clear the puck. It bounces around, comes to Ryan McDonough. Welcome back, Ryan McDonough, from your injury once again. He blasted past Anderson. His night is done. Preds leading this game now by a score of 6-1. Sabres would put in Pekka Luukkonen. Remember from when the Preds played the Sabres earlier. No, that's not any relation to Pekka Rinne. That's a completely different guy. But Pekka Luukkonen would come in, and temporarily it seemed like it gave the Sabres a spark as the Preds took 2 unnecessary penalties close together, giving the Sabres almost a full 5-on-3. And quick enough in succession, the Sabres are able to set up and get one past Saros, chipping into the lead just a bit. It's still 6-2 Preds. You'd think they'd be okay. Tage Thompson, my God, that guy's a talent. His 43rd of the season. The Preds still lead by 4 as the period winds down. Hopefully the Preds are home and cool after 40 minutes. Leading by 4, just 20 minutes left to go in the game. Third period begins. Preds leading by 4. Preds Nation hoping that the Preds haven't expounded everything, because you don't want to allow the Sabres back into this game. So you hope you have a little energy conserved. Preds Nation also wondering, hopefully you guys didn't score too many goals and have some in the tank left for when you come home to face Seattle on Thursday and Saturday, but we'll get to that. Sabres don't go out with just a whimper, as just over 12 minutes left to go in regulation. Tommy Novak can't clear the puck out, and Jeffrey Skinner is able to get his 30th of the season, chipping into the lead just a little bit more. Preds now lead 6-3. We reached the last quarter of regulation. Preds still leading by 3. You think the Preds should be home and cool with that? Then about 2.5 minutes left, the Sabres pull Pekka Luukkonen, seeing that, they have a chance down by 3. Not that good probably, but 3 goals is capable of coming back. But shortly after, Pekka Luukkonen is pulled. Don't you worry, Preds Nation, because just inside his own blue line, Matt Duchene can see a clear path to the empty cage, and he drills it across the ice, down into it, makes no mistake, puts the dagger in this game, his second goal of the game. Preds will go on to win this one 7-3. Well, that's certainly one way to shake off a 7-0 beating. I've seen the Incredible Hulk get mad, but not this mad as this team was to get Sundays out of their system. Now, if only they could have converted on one of their 3 power play chances I think they had, it would have been a better overall night, considering that they still allowed a couple goals, but I would have liked the special teams to be better overall. Thanks to Bally Sports South for this stat post-game. I don't know how many of you caught it, but Luke Evangelized is the first Preds rookie in franchise history to score 2 goals and 2 assists in a single game. He's the second Preds rookie in franchise history to score at least 4 points overall in a game, the first being Dan Hamhuis, who back on March 4, 2004, in that famous drubbing of the Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh, where the Preds beat the Penguins by a score of 9-4, resulting in Dan Hamhuis having 1 goal and 4 assists. Now it's time for the Preds to come back home for a 3-game homestand where they face the Seattle Kraken 2 times in a matter of 3 days, and then face the Toronto Maple Leafs Sunday night. It's Elie Toivonen's homecoming, don't you know, since David Poile first put him on waivers and he was immediately claimed by the Kraken. I hope your calendars are marked, because we also have Pekka Rinne's statue unveiling happening in the second of those 2 games against the Kraken Saturday afternoon. Now we have to assume that Elie Toivonen is getting a tribute video, right? Look at it. Nito Niederreiter got a tribute video last Saturday when the Jets came to town, and he was only here half a season. And Elie Toivonen was drafted and developed by the Preds, so he's got to be getting a tribute video, right? I would just like to make one request of the hockey gods, if you can hear me up there. I know what basically happens in these sorts of situations is spurned players usually have a big game against their former team. I can understand that, especially because they have 2 games in Nashville. But if I could just make one request, if he has to have a big game, could he just have it Thursday? Is that too much to ask, Preds Nation? What do you think? Just have it Thursday, because if anything, I would just love, even, you guys are going to say I'm going to jinx this, aren't you? But even if that means the Preds can't make the playoffs, could the Preds get a victory for Pekka on his statue unveiling day on Saturday, please? Remember, Preds Nation, the hockey gods have been generous to us. I just want one more time. We got the hockey gods to bless Pekka with a shutout in his last regular season start. The Preds won an epic game for him on his jersey retirement night. Now for his statue unveiling, just one more win, just to cap off the hat trick for Pekka. So that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. You can find my social media by clicking on the channel name. Tell all your friends about Predemption. No matter what lies in store for the Preds in the eventual offseason to come, whatever that might be, the one thing the Preds have going for them is cap space, because these kids continue to impress and show that they belong. So the Preds will have plenty of wiggle room to work with until these kids get mature enough to earn their paydays and finally get this team back into being a playoff contender and maybe more.